If they can fix these problems, they will be in power for 50 years. This is this is a generational problem. This is a 100-year problem we're faced with right now.
Mark Mitchell, follow him at Honest Bolster on X, RasmusReports.com. He sent me a lot of other stuff I want to get into, but this thing with Trump melting down, we're trying to save it, is the big central issue. This is a desperate situation. We'll be right back. All right, I want to be very clear to listeners, and most of you have been listening for decades, you know, a lot of you have. I don't get up here and fearmonger for no reason just to get listeners. If I wanted to get listeners, I would just do, you know, red meat Republican stuff and make fun of liberals all day. And we still do that sometimes just because I can't help it. But you study economics and history, and you've been around a while, and you read what all the top analysts are saying in the real world, not in the pop culture, the world is in the most danger ever. All this confluence of different things are going on. And I predicted Trump would win this time. I predicted, you know, all the stuff that's happened. And I knew in the last 6 months that this whole Israel thing, with the perfect storm of everything that Mark Mitchell just said, with the boomers worshiping it, and all the Zionist intimidation against people that were just mildly criticizing Israel, when there's been an avalanche shift against it, bullying doesn't work when that's going on. Got a few people to keep down, bullying works. Not when there's a giant uprising. It'd be like, you know, Mrs. Frankenstein running out to the castle when 500 villagers show up with torches, and she runs out there with a baseball bat and threatens to kick all their ass. Well, Mrs. Frankenstein, they're gonna knock you over the head and go into the castle and burn the son down. And Netanyahu is Mrs. Frankenstein. Nobody knows where Frankenstein, the monster, is. He's running around the village, you know, doing whatever he's doing. Because Dr. Frankenstein's, you know, maybe been strangled by his monster. We don't even know. That's a weird analogy, but my point is that Trump's doing so much good on policies, on the economy, and so many things, but they have absolutely ignored Epstein, that now has come roaring back, and their handling of that. And then now their handling of Israel, and, you know, the things Trump said and did, which I'm not going to belabor because I'll go back to our guest, but you're not my supporters if you want to know about Epstein. You know, stuff like that. And I get it, he's 79, and we need Trump. I mean, listen, I'm not somebody that just bashes Trump because, oh, it'll be a big clip. Everything I say is because I absolutely believe it. I get criticized for not attacking Trump on every issue because I'm trying to balance this of, you know, compared to Kamala Harris, it's night and day. But now that he's starting to sink quickly, I mean, I'm going to have to really take it to him. And I was invited to Mar-a-Lago 6 months ago, the White House. I'm supposed to be at, what is tonight? I'm supposed to be at Mar-a-Lago tomorrow with some people, and I wasn't even going to go. I guess I got to go. I guess I got to go to the White House. And I'll probably just scream at him. And that's why a lot of times he doesn't really call me anymore, because over the years I'll say, listen, you got traitors. Here's their names. Man, I don't want to hear how great I am. Because, you know, you get the 5-minute call. It's exactly 5 minutes, and he's going to pat you on the head and do this thing. And I'm just like, listen, I got kids. I study history. I'm a futurist, really. And I'm scared, okay? I'm not scared of being put in prison or killed. I'm scared of failing. I'm scared of waking up and we're in a nuclear war, folks. I mean, this is serious. And you've got the political class, like, I know Mark knows all this, but he says each little thing, it's a year of knowledge. The Republicans famously steal half the money they get for TV ads and stuff. They're still putting most of it in TV, period. The Democrats spend like 97% on attacks. They're committed. They mean business. The Republican class of consultants and politicos are just the most disgusting people you can imagine, in that they are single-mindedly about stealing money. There ain't going to be no money if everything collapses or there's a nuclear war, jerks. So I know I have my guest here to talk. I'm going to stop ranting, but just can you speak to that and some of the other stuff you sent us, Mark? And I'm going to try to shove and give you the floor. I don't know how to get maximum urgency to people, because I've never felt like this. I've been on there 31 years. My gut's always been right. Yeah. I've been feeling the last few weeks claustrophobic. Like when I never had panic attacks in my life. I've been learning these are what they are. I'm literally feeling claustrophobic right now. And I don't know how I get people to understand how much danger we're in. And I know you're a really smart guy that doesn't, you've had a lot of businesses, a lot of companies. You're not just a top pollster. Like you said, you get data everywhere. Are you feeling the same urgency that this slide continues, we're screwed?
This is the end of an empire. We're staring at it. And what we saw basically is that the right had the best chance it's ever going to get. That's it. You had the best chance. And now we see exactly what the Republican Party is. The music is stopping. Well, I've been on the show and I've talked about all of the rising risk of civil war. 90% of people are concerned about political violence. Like all of these numbers are going up and up and up, right? And the left is just blatantly ignoring the Constitution, and the right still thinks that the Constitution is a suicide pact. It's really wild. But the music is going to stop on all of this. Our entire government, for instance, is basically, organized towards still fighting against Soviet Russia or whatever. I'm not a foreign policy genius, but all that stuff that we said about Israel, I think in a couple of years, maybe even in a year or two, it's going to be the same thing about NATO. Because I'm just looking at numbers back from March, and 18 to 39-year-olds, only 27% of them have a very favorable impression of NATO. 53% is 65 and older. So there's a complete generational divide there too. And we're getting to a place like another 5 or 10 years of boomer deaths, and we're going to pull the plug on NATO. Like the writing is on the wall.
In the real world, and with war with Russia, if you talk about who can get us killed, it's NATO. I mean, it is out of control.
100%. Yeah, everybody's got a gun to our head. Like that's where we're at. Literally, the entire world has turned into global welfare queens. We employ like every engineer in India. We're in a proxy war with Russia. Like we literally subsidize all of Western Europe. I mean, literally, the American taxpayer has been screwed by everybody, and they're tapped out, and they're starting to realize it. And unfortunately, it looks like maybe the right didn't take advantage of this chance the way it should have, and the pendulum's going to go back to the left. And the left has learned that it's going to run on Democrat socialism. I don't know what that means. But the thing is that the youth kind of understand, like you said, that the left is at least serious about it. So look at just any one of these crises, like the housing crisis. The left has an answer for that. We know exactly what it looks like. It's going to be a $10 trillion bipartisan banking and housing bubble bailout bill. It's going to give everybody under 40 like some government home or something. It's going to be built by big corporations. A lot of it's going to get siphoned, and it's going to probably screw up the dollar and doom us into a debt spiral. But at least the people will get something, right? If the Republicans, they've been given the opportunity to solve this crisis, and they're talking about turkeys. They're talking about turkeys, and they're telling people, don't tell me about affordability. And so I'll make one more point about where Gen Z is at, and people should watch Zoomers. Like go to YouTube, go to the streamers. Like I watch a few of them. I think Asmund Gold is really good. They have no political loyalty whatsoever, and they're also not conservative. We talked a lot about that polling on your show. Even the ones that voted for Trump are very socialistic. They want to nationalize industries. They want excess wealth confiscation.
Oh,
and so I'll tell you,
look at Fuentes. Loves Hitler, loves Stalin, loves strongmen, because that's what the youth, and this repeats the 20s. By the way, kids, when we go through these patterns, you get these strongmen, you get giant wars and total death and destruction. So that's why older people, I don't mean the boomers that are, not all of them that are so secure and watch their football games, but I mean real technicians like Mark Mitchell that's run major companies, people that have been around like myself. We've studied history. This doesn't go well. And so this fascination with black uniforms and marching armies, it's not fun.
Yeah, and I think you got to look at nuance, like what specifically his real platform is. I don't watch him, but he had a clip, and it's like a lot of that is just shock value to rebel against the Zoomers. But what these people are asking for is a return to justice. They're asking for like some type of equivalent, some blowback to the complete lack of justice and the two-tiered justice. They're looking for economic opportunity, and they're looking, quite frankly, for identitarianism, and that's something that a lot of people haven't talked about. And it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, young people have lost their identity, and I'm not even trying to criticize Nick. I was going towards a danger point there, and just using that as a larger example. They want results, and they want them now, and they're going against whatever the establishment is, which is what you get in a major turning. Please continue.
Yeah. So the youth approval of Trump back in the peak, if you look at Google Trends right now and type in Doge and look back at the last week of February, first week of March, everybody was searching for Doge. It's like that's when USAID was coming to a head. Like you go back and look at the news headlines. That's the week where voters under 40 gave Trump a 60% approval rating. They went to Hillary Clinton by 20 points. So I can't like explain how absolutely nutso a 60% under 40 voter approval rating of a Republican president. It's unprecedented.
Because they were seeing real reforms. So we go back to this. We need Trump to 100% apologize, bring back those first 3-4 months. That was so amazing. People saw the change, but the Republican establishment came in and went against Elon, and Trump went along with it. Now he's realizing he was wrong. And so, but we need to not just give, Elon, his guy at NASA. We need to bring him back.
Yeah, he went from 60% with those people to 35% on election day, a complete and utter collapse. And if you ask them, they say, oh, well, Mamdani, I kind of like him now. He's got a 62% favorability among under 30s now. So they just want somebody who has an authentic solution. But what's kind of interesting is we've been asking about like AutoPen and Arctic frost and all these other things. And when you ask people, okay, are you following what's going on with Arctic frost? Guess who says yes most? It's the under 30 voters. They're the ones reading Chuck Grassley's letter. It's people under 30 on the internet. 80% of them are following that story. And then when we ask you, it's like, okay, well, do you want these people arrested? Guess who says yes? 56% of the Zoomers want the people arrested from the AutoPen scandal. 59% want the Arctic frost people arrested. I might have that reversed, but it was like 59 to 19. It's like 3 to 1. They're like, just do something. And you look at how these people are responding to Nick Fuentes. Go back to that interview with Tucker. Everybody on the right clutched their pearls because two humans talked on the internet. And the Zoomers are like, hey, look, it's two humans talking on the internet. And like 30 million people probably watched that. You can go to YouTube and look at the like and dislike ratio. It's overwhelmingly liked. It's like 270,000 upvotes to only 7,000 downvotes. Most people just watched it and they're like, oh, he's saying some stuff that's interesting. You know what the Zoomer streamers that I watch thought that they liked most there? It was the part where Nick Fuentes says that we need to come down on the protesters with an iron fist and crush all dissent. That's what the Zoomers want. And so they look at this and they're like, oh, okay, Trump declared, a terrorist organization. It's like, well, the optics of Trump defending colleges, liberal professors that are brainwashing our youth with CCP students. These are China's elite. They are CCP members taking Zoomer jobs. He's defending that while they're literally attacking Turning Point on college.
That's right. I have the clip. See if you guys can pull it up. What the F is this? Trump supporters rip president for saying there aren't enough talented people in America. So American young people, and it's Hispanics and blacks too, I see the numbers, they're waking up and saying, we want somebody to represent us. We've been screwed. We're done. And if Mamdani promises a bunch of free stuff, at least they probably know it's going to be bad inflation and crash stuff down the road, but they don't care because they understand they have no future. So they're basically just hitting a panic button.
Yeah. They're the forcing function for the fourth turning. They're going to be in charge, and I don't know what they do. I don't think they know what they do. I think they just don't like what we see right now.
And folks, that's why Mao Zedong and Hitler both went after the youth. And we need to really pay attention to this. Instead, you've got the insulated boomers, and I'm oversimplification. My parents are boomers. A lot of great people are boomers in a way. But with the boomers, even particularly, compared to my grandparents, the World War II generation, there is just a insulation, they just live in another world.
Yeah.
And
it's a foundation myth. Well,
take my grandparents on both sides would be reading the Grassley reports. So that was 70, 80-year-old people that cared about intelligence reports. Now it's not the old people on average, it's young people because they know they're in deep trouble. They're trying to find out what's happening.
That's right. Yeah, that's the cycle. My wife was raised by silent generation. My parents were boomers. Our experience could not have been any different. And that's literally exactly what's going on. And the youth are going to win. And it's a question about, like, does the right understand this and doesn't want a seat at the table, or is it going to keep pretending that we're going to continue to be the boomers for the rest of the existence? It's not going to last. Music's stopping. Everything's running out. Already, I think you're starting to see cracks in the economy. I've heard reports about upticks in youth unemployment and reduced spending. And it's like, already we know, like, the house prices have been too high too long. Everybody's going to start, like, defaulting on stuff. And again, like we saw a year ago, people were talking about a controlled detonation of the economy, and we didn't want to do that because we conflated the economy with the stock market. Well, no, the stock market is all AI hype again, Alex, by boomers. It's boomers retail trading up AI stock companies while Zoomers can't even eat or procreate. It's like really bad. The one stat about the median home buyer, National Association of Realtors dropped this like the day before Election Day. It was really wild. The median age of home buyers in the country is now 59 years old. 20 years ago, it was 39 years old. So the people buying houses now are the same human beings that were buying houses 20 years ago.
Because if your country's booming, it's 25-year-olds getting their first home. with a husband and wife. Let me play this clip because, again, Laura Ingraham going after Trump, MTG doing it, everybody. And it's not because they want to. They see Trump starting to go the wrong direction. Well, sorry, we're not giving up our values. So we're the wave you rode in on, and I'm doing this. I want to play this clip, but while we're playing it, think of this, Mark Mitchell, in closing. And you brought up so many other great points. Talk for hours, but I got to go. How do we salvage this with Trump? Like, if you were Trump, or you could go to Trump and meet with him for an hour, give him bullet points, he would do everything you said, because I respect you're a really smart guy. What should Trump do? Because we can get this, clips of this. You won't watch more than 5 minutes, but I can get anything I want to him. Got to make a few phone calls and these things, and it'll happen, and I've seen some effects from it. So we do have some hope here, but I think the clock's ticking in the next few months. Let's go ahead and go to this Laura Ingraham clip.
There's never going to be a country like what we have right now.
And does that
mean,
mean,
Republicans have to talk about it, Laura.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people
no,
here.
You don't. No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have. You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment, like an unemployment line, and say, "I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles," or "I'm going to put."
How did we ever do it before?
Well,
I'll
give you an example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing. It's very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant, and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles. It doesn't work that way.
Now, Trump pragmatically is 100% right, and he's in the process of this. But it's not lying when you just don't say certain things out loud, Mark. That could lose us the midterms, that statement.
Well, the no talent thing is going to be played over and over again in every Democrat ad. But I think like actual Trump supporters looking at that, like there's probably some cognitive dissonance because they don't really understand. First off, he's surrounded by billionaires, and he kind of went to bat for the big corporations. Looks like oligarchy stuff. And I agree. We should be able to have, people come over to South Korea and help us set up a plant.
If he'd have said, hey, it takes time to get the curve, they're here to train us. We got a lot of talent. They just got to get trained. He said it's the no talent. He needs to come out and say, I misspoke. I didn't mean that.
Well, right. But he's taking the 1% edge case when 99% of it is manipulation by corporations. Walmart's technology is 70% Indian foreign national almost. And nobody's talking about the national security threat that we took a member of the BRICS and gave them control over every one of our technology companies. And quite frankly, a way that's probably going to be pretty hard to extricate ourselves from. But the other thing he didn't talk about was, wait a minute, that plant had a whole bunch of legal aliens and we didn't sue the hell out of Hyundai? Are you even going to bat for us? Like, why did you not punish them brutally for employing all of those illegal aliens? And then the other thing is he kind of doesn't know how the job market works is what I can surmise from that statement. Because what happens is when they have a role to fill for missile engineer or whatever, they put a description out and they get 100 resumes. And then they look through them for the H-1B so they can pay them less. Well, if they weren't allowed to find the H-1B, there would still be American resumes.
They'd have to pay a little more than to say that we don't have talent is horse crap. And again, you've been an executive, Walmart, e-commerce, Jet.com, JP Morgan Chase. You're not just a top pollster. The reason you're so good at polling is you have this big background of knowledge to bring to it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I ask questions, right? And, I think the corporate culture is getting away from this. People don't really understand what woke is. I think woke is this Republican globalism, sort of big business, brown nose. It's all about my resume, and make a decision about what looks good and not what is good. And what is good is asking questions, identifying the actual reality, root cause and corrective actions, and putting long-term systematic solutions in place.
That's right. So many people are thin-skinned, even in executive areas. They want a bunch of yes men. The world's too complex. Civilization was not built with a bunch of yes men. It was built on meritocracy. 60 seconds. Mark Mitchell, honest pollster on X, Reports.com. The Mondami thing, though, is that just a thing in New York? We saw a lot of other communists and Islamics getting elected as well, or is that a trend? Does he run for president? How dangerous is Mondami?
The youth want him because they believe him, and he's going to look out for them, period. But you said you wanted a plan, and I actually put a plan
Let's keep going then. Let's keep going. Yeah. Well, God, I forgot. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you have to do 5 more minutes then after this. We're about to go to break in 3 minutes. What is, okay, you got 5 minutes with the president. How does he get himself out of this?
I don't even know if it needs 5 minutes, but again, I think if he fixes his message, he can come back, his numbers can come back up. The question is the Republicans who completely crap the bed, and I don't know if anybody's going to believe them, but it's going to take like basically the Manhattan Project to figure out how to get Republicans to win next fall, and I don't think they're going to be able to do the whole thing, so I think they need to lay out basically like a contract for America that's focused on brutal accountability and economic populism and basically undoing the oligarchy, because the left's going to do it if the right doesn't, and you're not going to like how the left does it, and they aren't going to be able to get all that done, but they need to lay out what they can pragmatically get done with whatever reconciliation they have or whatever. If they can fix these problems, they will be in power for 50 years. This is this is a generational problem. This is a 100-year problem we're faced with right now. And then the other fix is the Republican Party needs to be cleansed. It is completely 100% corrupt, and you will not win elections with the people who are there. They are solely there to enrich themselves. They have no principles. There's probably like 5% of them that are good. I hear these stories all the time. They have no one to go to. I get the whistleblower reports because they would get pushed out or redistricted out if they went to anybody. It's so bad. And so the way that can be fixed, and I know a lot of this sounds pie in the sky, is that somebody's got to pony up some money that's not going out for personal interests, like not Ken Griffin buying like, you know, amnesty. Like there needs to be a chunk of money that goes to a shadow organization that is centralized and creates a grassroots chapter in each state. That the central organization runs actual research, understands America, builds an America First platform, figures out what the new wave of conservatism looks like, trains people, creates a pipeline, creates a bench, is run by somebody that's actually built something and not some consulting class scumbag, can't be headquartered in Washington, D.C. That organization needs to be put to work immediately, because I already know grassroots types organizations that are so spurned by the Republican Party. They're just trying to do this themselves. They have no air cover. They have no help. They have no support. They have no infrastructure.
Well, I mean, look at InfoWars. Look at, I mean, not to wrap myself into it. The left came after us because we were the only thing 9-10 years ago even trying to mobilize a populist conservative culture, because it was so blue blood out of the Republicans, and it got picked up and brought into MAGA, and just Trump talking some of the points got a lot done. And again, I'm not the only game in town. You're right. We need Elon Musk to come in and get with top thinkers and just launch something like that immediately.
Yeah. And he's got to know he's not going to get everything he wants. But it's not going to be fixed from Washington, D.C. It's occupied territory. They got one guy at the head of the Heritage Foundation, and look what happened. They used the first excuse possible to have a mutiny after this guy.
Total bullying, and Israel sees weakness. The Republican Party is trying to take it over right now. And so I guess in a way it's healthy that's being covered, but it just shouldn't be the only issue we cover. Mark Mitchell, amazing interview. We're raising the bat signal, you know, out to Trump, Elon, everybody. This is serious. Thank you so much.
Great to be here. Thanks.